Okay. Check out this little the context video by Vaush. It's a lot of crazy shit that this nigga said, bro. Not even gonna repeat what I heard from him. So apparently this nigga's like a horse lover or some shit because of their big ass dicks. Wow, that's something.
So this is a video I probably should have made a long time ago.
Is
There are
the L
two
word
main
over?
reasons why I haven't. For
What
one,
word?
everything we're about to talk about has been discussed over and over and over again on this channel, in live streams and in videos. Some of it has been discussed to death. Over engagement with the topic has caused it to have a disproportionate influence both on my community and on the way people outside of my community perceive me and my channel. The second main reason I've been hesitant to make this video is because experience has taught me that, generally speaking, if folks want to hate you or distrust you or whatever else, it's pretty difficult to convince them otherwise.
L
Sometimes, if
A
you're
letter
unpopular
after
enough,
F.
even if you've got a good point to make, just the
What?
attempt to change people's minds can come across as kind of self-incriminating. You actually ground them further in the positions they already have. You know, it's one of those deals where the people who need to hear it won't listen, and the people who will listen don't need to hear it again. Let's get right to it then. Let's not waste time. What am I actually talking about? Well, I hate to drop this on the people who just innocently watch me for my political content and don't engage in any
Just say it on
broader
Discord.
community
I'll
drama.
just
Some folks online have called me
just
a
say it on my
pedophile.
DM.
Now, this in and of itself isn't actually that noteworthy. With the political climate being what it is, folks are getting accused of being pedophiles on Twitter left and right. It's pretty common. But some people have called me this way more insistently and a lot louder. So,
Well, I mean, if you have a photo of a bunch of lollies getting like fucked by a horse, then you have a lot of people saying that type of shit. You know, that's
why?
just the
Remember how
internet.
I said self-defense can come across as kind of incriminating even if it's accurate or well-intentioned? Yeah, even though I've gone over all this before on stream or in videos, I wasn't exactly jumping at the bit to make a why I'm not a pedophile video. That's not it's a rough subject is what I'm saying. You know, that's one of the reasons why it's so effective as a smear, of course. It's just an incredibly difficult subject to engage with. So let's not waste any more time. We've got a lot to go through. What then is this video about? What do I have to say and why do I want to say it? What are my goals in making the video? Well, the gist of it is this. When people accuse me of being a pedophile, they usually do so while presenting pieces of evidence, often clips from my live streams, that make me look bad. While I do think that a lot of the claims and pieces of so-called evidence used against me range from being uncharitable to outright dishonest, the fact remains that I have said some incredibly stupid fucking shit on this channel, especially really early on, like right when I started streaming. And I don't fault anyone for seeing clips from that and being suspect of me. You know, I wasn't doing myself any favors, I'll say that much. For a lot of them, such as the ones where I'm making a point that is overall good and like uncontroversial, but I do a bad job of making it, there's nothing for me to really like debunk, you know? It's not a takedown. It's more a matter of charity. You know, I have to
Child labor
go and
arguments.
look at these clips and explain what do they mean, you know? What was I thinking? What was I saying?
Vegan
Is
games,
this clip like
extra
so
content,
dishonestly cut that you know
Mr. Girl
no
content.
reasonable
Wait, what?
person would interpret it as
You know,
looking
I'm just
bad?
gonna go
See,
to the most important part. I don't give a fuck about the rest of this.
one category of disingenuous pedophilia accusation that I find particularly maddening is when they're cut from a video in which I am clearly arguing that our society has a tendency to fetishize youth in girls and that it's bad. Essentially, I'll say our society broadly has a serious problem fetishizing young girls, and people will look at that statement and they'll say, "Oh, he's projecting. You know, he's not talking about society. He's talking about himself," which is insane.
You have a full okay.
Insane. Does that logic apply to all social critique? If I said that America has a problem with racism, for example, hypothetically, if you could imagine such a world, does that mean I'm projecting my own racism just innately? Here's an example of this exact thing happening live quite recently.
The average American man would be most attracted to? Which hypothetical strip club would be the most crowded if they all opened tomorrow?
I think it would be somewhere.
Do you not
from
want to answer
14.
this question?
No, I think it'd be somewhere from 14 to 17. I don't
Which
think we've,
one?
we've changed.
This motherfucker, wants to fuck 14-year-olds.
What?
That is a child.
What a crazy clip. That guy I'm talking to in that clip, Mr. Girl, is, well, if he's not a pedophile, he does an amazing impression of one. I'll say that much.
Remember somebody messaging on Discord over screenshots and the screenshots that disregard concept of the maximum degree, get tired of the self-righteousness. No, just like DM me. You don't have to do it on a shit. Just DM me.
He spent that entire goddamn debate being a creepy piece of shit to me, asking me weird fucking questions. I think when he first got on call, he wanted to talk about how he thought he could have debated Hitler out of doing the Holocaust. It started funny crazy like that, but over time it just got creepier and creepier, and eventually I just kicked him from the call in disgust. He's one of the reasons that I don't have a debating all comers policy anymore. You got to filter some of these people. So, all right, where's the context, right? Well, here's a clip from that debate of Mr. Girl asking me that question the first time.
Here's a thought experiment. I'm gonna open a string of strip clubs in Las Vegas. It's gonna be called Mr. Girl's Whatever You Want Emporium. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And in one strip club, the strippers are 25, 24, 23, 22, all the way down to infants. But each strip club, and this is a... What? Sovereign state, so there's no laws. In each club, everyone is the same age.
What? They can say all the way down to... Oh, my... Dog.
Okay, so if you want to watch babies crawl around, or you want to watch 100-year-olds, we'll start at 100. So...
Oh, my God, yo, that is insane, bro.
Basically, everybody, and everybody all the women on the planet have to work here. My question is, in America now, which club do you think would be the most popular if this were to open tomorrow?
In a sovereign state adjacent to America.
Yeah, and it's
my nigga, bro, right there, I could have just clipped it off, bro. I was like, oh yeah, this nigga's no, I'm out.
No one identities are. There's no issues of social ostracization. Nobody knows. Everybody's wearing whatever disguises.
The closest
not
argument
strippers.
you could make there, I think, is from European literature from ye olden days, and it seems like predation against girls spiked up around like 14 to 16. So if you could, all the degenerate sex tourists.
Yeah, looking around you at America now. I want you to base this just on your sense. You know a lot of people. You talk to a lot of people about this. And we all.
I haven't talked to a lot of people about this specifically. I'm going to.
Okay, well, we run in different circles, but based on your observations of American
Jesus
humans,
Christ,
which club is the most popular? Let's say men, straight men are going, and they're women.
Culturally, I don't think that we've done anything to appropriately discourage that kind of predatory behavior towards girls. So my guess is that it would be somewhere between 14 to 17. I think that culturally we've done
one-way mirror. The girls
little.
don't know. The girls don't know that you're.
We should even engage in that conversation. My nigga, I would have just said no, bro. Like, clip off. I would have.
even predatory to go look at them? They don't know that you're looking at them.
I would say that it's
one way-
predatory.
It's a website where you can log in and look at locker rooms. Just forget the slavery aspect.
I would continue to believe that's predatory for
yeah, for
multiple
sure. But
reasons.
much harder type of predatory behavior to discourage if no one will ever know that camera was there.
If you put a camera in an underage girl's locker room and the police found it, I assure you that they would be able to very quickly, succinctly, and with great confidence explain to you what you did wrong.
All right, then I have to go take care of something. No, I'm just kidding. My question is, which club is the
Oh,
most
hell no, bro.
popular? My question is, where do you think we're at? And I'm asking it in kind of a exciting way because we're in public. But where do you think
exciting?
we're at? What is?
I genuinely don't think that much has been done to culturally disbar the average modern guy from the attitudes that we had back in antiquity towards
so
women and attractiveness towards women.
And what number?
I think it would be
Do you
somewhere
not
from
want to answer this
14.
question?
No, I think it'd be somewhere from 14 to 17. I don't
Which
think
one?
we've changed.
Those are big. That's a big difference.
I have no idea, and I couldn't even begin to think by which categories I would separate them.
But you're saying 14 to 17, and you will not. You won't pick a number.
I will
Niggas like him still have a platform, bro. What in the hell?
absolutely not pick a number within that range.
Because you don't have a guess, or because you don't want to be clipped saying it?
Because I don't even know by what category you would distinguish into that group, and because I'm referring only to my feelings on other people's predilections, not to my own. So you're not asking me for my preference, you're asking me what I expect of the average American.
No.
A group of which
obviously
I
your
have a very
preference
low
is-
impression.
Okay, but you don't want to say the number.
I don't have a number. Do you have a number? Is there a number you're looking for?
I think it's 15.
Dude.
Well, I suppose we'll leave it to the historians to judge.
Dude, what?
Maybe 16.
Maybe.
I think it would be 14 at first, and then it would move up once the novelty wore off. I think it would be 15 or 16.
Is this consideration in line with your desire to empathize with pedophiles, or is it something more personal than that?
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, you sound like a pedophile, not a person who wants to promote empathy for socially misaligned people.
Why do I sound like a pedophile?
Because you're dedicating a considerable amount of thought to the subject of what type of underage girl people would be most interested in.
Exactly, bro. That sounded fucking odd.
What color, if you had to guess what color their underwear would be, Vaush, what would you say?
Dude, what? Oh, hell no, bro. Yo, someone needs to check this nigga's hard drive. And I believe Vito was also the one that was like quoting this nigga's tweet on Twitter. Bro, what the fuck?
You see that? You people ask for debates, and what do we get? I am explicitly talking about a widespread social failure to address, prevent, or discourage predation against young girls. Nothing about my language even remotely implies that I'm describing my own preference. I think you'd have to be really goddamn dishonest or stupid to take that as a mark against me. Or I'll...
That is fucking strange, yo. That Mr. Girl nigga needs to be in a mental asylum, bro. Motherfuckers say what color is their underwear? Like, dude, bro, what? That nigga sounds like a goddamn cupcake dweller.
Alternatively, maybe you don't think we have a broader social issue when it comes to the fetishization of young girls, and my belief that such a problem exists is just me projecting my own desires. You know, if you really think that, if you really don't think that broader social problem exists, then I think that's a mark against you, not me, personally, you know, with regards to being a suspect. Look, this point at least ought to be taken seriously. We all have female friends who started getting catcalled when they were young. I mean young. Teen is one of the most popular porn categories. Barely legal is a strip club advertising cliche. So common, a lot of people don't even think about how fucking weird it is, you know? Clearly, a problem exists. I don't think it's a problem that exists inherently. I think it's a product of our constructed
Void, I have
social
no idea.
environment, capable of being made better or worse through the influence of, different ideological forces. One of the most shamelessly predatory, pedophilic ideas I've ever seen taken half seriously is the wall. You've heard of it, the not the Pink Floyd, the red pill idea that women become unattractive and lose all sexual value after the age of 30. I know the harm of this specific idea is mostly hypothetical because the median believer in the wall is like a 14-year-old boy who doesn't talk to women anyway. But it's still an example of how political ideologies can influence the extent to which predatory attitudes against women are socially normalized, to be honest. But, all right, enough with the clips that are easy for me to defend. Let's address the clip that I see second most often. It's probably my least favorite one because it is so stupid and so unnecessary, and the bad optics of it aren't even from the argument that I was trying to make. Here, enjoy the terrible clip.
Please, right now, uncuck your dumb shit libcuck fucking SJW brains and recognize this empirically correct fact that I am about to spit. It is possible for an adult and a child to have a sexual relationship and for it to have positive outcomes on the child as well. That is possible.
Man, look at how cool and logical I am, calling people libcucks for having the audacity to take issue with anything that I'm saying there.
Was that
My
from me?
IQ must be massive. The way I'm willing to, and this is the charitable take here.
No, of course
saw
not.
my own legs off at the knee. Optically speaking. No points for guessing this clip's from 2019. Same as the fucking child labor argument. So same era, same brain.
He's explaining it
Before I
right
can
now.
Explain what was going on here. We have to finish the point that I was making because this is a really nasty clip.
It is possible for an adult and a child to have a sexual relationship and for it to have positive outcomes on the child as well. That is possible. However, categorically, we discourage those relationships because as a rule, it is substantially more likely that enabling them would cause harm in society. That's the difference between act and rule utilitarianism. An act utilitarian would say, oh, this is an instance where it was good for the adult and the minor to have sex. That would make it a good action. But the rule utilitarian, which is what I am, would say, even though that individual outcome was good, the act was still bad because in general, in a broader application, for adults and children to have sex with one another leads to horribly destructive outcomes. For that reason, it is an unethical act.
Look at that. Whoever cut this clip ended it right before I said, but really nasty work. And I clearly don't need the help making myself look terrible. So, all right. What's going on here? What point am I clearly failing to make? And why did I say any of that terrible shit? What I'm trying to explain, poorly, mind you, is the difference between act and rule utilitarianism. They're two different ways of understanding what's right and what's wrong. At least that's what I thought back then. To understand what I was thinking at the time, I'm going to have to explain this in the context of my past self's, like sophomoric Dunning-Kruger-esque understanding of utilitarianism. We have to enter the very tiny shoes of my brain back then. Step into the shoes of my brain back then. And back then, as I understood it, act utilitarians decide if an action is moral by assessing the outcomes of that action, right? So you throw a brick at a person, it hits them, it hurts them, that's a bad outcome. Okay, so don't throw bricks at people. And rule utilitarians do this while also considering the value of broader judgments or rules that might consider an action moral or immoral by default, based on a general judgment of the expected outcomes. So we have rules against throwing bricks at people, not because the outcomes are always bad. I mean, you could miss, for example, and not really do much of anything. But we still have laws against that, because the expected outcome of throwing a brick at a person is bad, averaged out, and you want to prevent people from doing that thing generally, rather than just like letting people hope that the individual outcome of a specific thrown brick might be good. Does that make sense? Well, again, none of this is a good understanding of utilitarianism, so I'm trying to explain how I thought about it. I know. You'll have to read up on the subject elsewhere. Don't get your normative ethics lessons from me, please God. So let me continue with the distinction. In the, I guess, to keep with the theme of bricks, you know, we would consider it morally wrong to toss cinder blocks off of a highway overpass. You know, I think most people would agree that's bad. It's possible, however incredibly unlikely, that doing so might actually end in having a positive outcome. Maybe the cinder block, it goes through the windshield and it smashes the face of the
Okay,
kidnapper.
he's just not talking about cinder blocks, but yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude, because people usually just take a lot of shit way out of context, but you know, I'm not smart about this shit, so most likely I'll just you know, just leave it alone and leave it at that, because I'm not really knowledgeable about shit like that. But I'm pretty sure somebody else in the comment section can literally tell me what the fuck he means by all that shit that he just said. But shit.
Yeah. Unfortunately for me, my presence online dates back way farther than the creation of my channel, which means people interested in finding examples of me saying stupid shit have a pretty wide range of material to choose from. Before I had a channel or was even known as Vaush, I was a frequent and notorious shitposter in the community of a streamer called Destiny. I know, that's why I am the way I am. I had been in his community for a long time, really long, and I really enjoyed the edgy, irreverent, debate lord culture of his Discord server. So let's look at some of the stupid, edgy, irreverent shit I said 6 years ago there that people have since screenshotted out of context in the pursuit of calling me a pedophile. So this is a perfect example of context being maliciously stripped from a screenshot in order to make me look bad, even though I'm right and it's not even controversial. You know,
I seem to have provoked a defensive reaction in you. That fucking bear. There's a difference between exploring child. Yeah, I'm not reading all that. Talking to me, I can't watch it because I think it's disgusting. Or what fucking culture explores child's thing?
Uncontroversially right, I hope. The conversation was about media and LGBT representation. Here's the gist of it. So, coming of age stories are really common. You know, like a young person, they go on an adventure, they meet people they like, maybe they fall in love, they slay a dragon, whatever. Really, really, really common type of story. One of the main types of stories, even. And one of the biggest culture war talking points back in 2017, and I guess still now today, is that that kind of story is weird and pedophilic, and I guess the modern term would be groomery. I don't know. If the protagonist
I feel like calling someone a pedophile over having lolly stuff is pretty justified.
straight, right? So their argument was, you know, you can have a story where a young man goes on a journey and falls in love with a girl and everything's fine. But if a young man goes on a journey and falls in love with a guy, then it's weird and it's gross and it's different, and that's sexualizing them because young people can be straight but they can't be gay, you know, because that's weird. That means they've been abused or whatever. That's the argument that I was pressing against, you know, and hopefully everyone watching understands it's a ridiculous and homophobic and, you know, irrational argument. It's a stupid double standard. But that's what I was pushing back against. You know, the exploring sexuality there in that context means it being incorporated as a plot element, like in every story, right? The Last Airbender, Aang likes Katara. Spoilers. that's sexuality. That's heterosexuality, I believe, is the term for it. You know, in Teen Titans, Robin, like Starfire, not Raven, right? Starfire, whatever. Like normal, uncontroversial. You know, homophobes will say like, oh, well, actually, it's bad if it's, you know, if young people can be gay, even though everyone knows they can be. Like, it's. I have a feeling the person who clipped this to like use it against me wouldn't even disagree with the argument I'm making, because a lot of these like really bad faith clip jobs come from people who are ostensibly left leaning, which makes me wonder like if they don't understand they're doing the same thing that like the conservatives they would otherwise disagree with would do. I don't know. It's really, really, really frustrating. Nobody disagrees with me on the argument that I'm making here. I hope if I had only known then what my future would hold, then maybe I would have optically workshopped it a little more. On to the next one. Yeah, okay, so this one actually is bad, and I've apologized for it a few times.
Wait, what the fuck? I fucked an adult. Yikes.
Thing that guys do where you know, a hot female teacher will be arrested for raping a student, and the guys in the Facebook comment section will be like, you know, where was she when I was that age? Could have used me some of that. And basically like the thing they do where they downplay and trivialize the sexual abuses of the teacher because they personally think it would have been cool if they could have slept with their hot teachers back when they were 14.
Yikes.
And yeah, when I was 14, I also wanted to fuck my hot teachers, obviously. But, you know, 14-year-olds are idiots. Their interests, desires, and preferences shouldn't really be accounted as a
very indefensible, bro. That's fucking wild.
So this screenshot isn't really missing any context. It actually is shitty, but I've since come around on this, and I've recognized how bad it is to downplay or idealize that kind of thing. So... you know, I've been consistent about that for years now on my channel. Not much else I can do. All right, next one. All right, so this one looks bad.
Okay. The way I see it, the age of consent exists out of the respect of the numerous people, imbalanced older people that have over younger people. As those imbalances, or at least some of them, are redressed, though the advent of socialism, can't fucking read. Socialism, the age of consent should therefore be lowered. What the fuck?
I think this is probably like one of the other things that gets used against me the most often. It is mostly just stupid in the same way that the previous like terminally online debate-brained tendencies we've seen have been stupid.
But it makes sense.
My argument was that under socialism, an economic system that I don't believe exists or has ever existed, you could defensibly adopt an age of consent set to the same level as it is currently set to in England or France. Another pointless intellectual exercise conducted, I assume, because I and a lot of other people in the Discord server believed arguing controversial topics through inane hypotheticals made us cool and smart. Wow, good thing that didn't carry forward into my streaming career. I think my logic was... No, I know what my logic was. It was that the idea that economic disparities are a primary element of the power imbalance between adults and minors, and that removing that imbalance through total economic equality would rectify a part of the power imbalance. It's a stupid argument. I definitely don't agree with it anymore. I probably didn't agree with it, like, very shortly after I made it, because I was arguing about it. You know, like, it's pretty easy to poke holes in that one, I gotta say. Economic disparities are present in couples of literally every age, right? The power imbalance between adults and minors is more developmental and social. So the argument was stupid and meaningless, yes, but you have to understand that to the mind of the terminally online debate bro, the hotter and less necessary the take, the cooler you are for making it. Great stuff, you know. I've done myself nothing but good service in the pursuit of all of these.
What?
Hotter and less necessary. That to the mind of the terminally online debate bro, the hotter and less necessary the take, the cooler you are for making it. Great stuff. You know, I've done myself nothing but
All
good
right, then.
service in the pursuit of all of these excellent arguments that needed to be had. I think that's it for the Discord screenshots that I can meaningfully add context to. You know, like ones that I think are substantive enough to warrant any kind of explanation. The others are fake, like just like faked, like photoshopped or whatever, or so insubstantial that addressing them feels pointless. Yeah, you know, I want to give you an example of what that so often looks like, though. So here's one so stripped of context that I don't even remember what the conversation was about. Yeah, I see so many attacks against me substantiated by evidence like this stuff so insubstantial you would have to already
Jesus.
dislike me to buy into it. Leaving aside the fact that, like, if you're screenshotting a message so selectively that you remove, like, not only the literally all the surrounding information, but you've the image exclusively contains a single sentence. I mean, Jesus. Like, if that's the standard for making a person look bad, you can make anyone look bad. Like, it's incredibly easy to make people look bad if that's the standard. But the one sentence that remains is literally a stock joke. It's wry sarcasm, you know, like, oh wow, what did Benito Mussolini ever do to you? Wow, what did arsonists ever do to you? Wow, someone got murdered in your town and you think that's bad? Hold on there, buddy. What did murderers ever do to you? Like, the joke only works if the person making it assumes everyone present already knows the group being referred to as bad. Nobody actually says that when they're defending a group, like, sincerely, you know, like nobody. It's a stock joke. I don't want to be annoying by overstating this, but attacks against me are given a lot of perceived legitimacy by the sheer volume of evidence. But if you actually look into that volume, a lot of it is just nothing. I can't tell you how frustrating it is to see some gigantic ultimate compilation of evidence against Vaush with 100 links, and then you look into them and fully, like, 90% of those links are just nothing, sheer filler, completely meaningless. But to everyone else, it might as well be 100 bulletproof accusations because they're never actually going to look at them. I'm not just saying that. I've been online for a while. I know how internet drama works. You hear about a person being bad. You hear about them being bad so many times. You know, people say, oh, look, here's the evidence of it's a big... Like, you think everyone reads those big twit-longers? All those big documents, those 18-page Google Docs that people drop with all the evidence of this and that? Most people don't read all of that. For the most part, you know, if there's a lot of evidence towards a person being bad or a lot of perceived evidence, I don't think that's nothing. But I don't want to, you know, I can't, like, we can't pretend that it's not impossible to pack a bunch of sawdust in with the grain, you know? And I think that oftentimes I am either responding to people who have a couple of very pointed criticisms, almost always the child labor argument thing, which I've talked about, of course, but the more frustrating one is, like, sometimes, you know, you see people saying stuff about me and then you turn and look behind them to see what, like, evidence they've mounted, and a lot of it is, like, nothing. And I feel like if you could tell them, like, hey, look, turn around, like, look at what you're using, do you not think it would? Or yeah, you know, my frustration here is clear. I don't want to oversell it. I have said legitimately stupid stuff. You know, I'm not trying to deny that or downplay that. I'm only saying that it makes it more difficult for me to address or give context to those things, give people the opportunity to decide for themselves with the real information how they feel about me, when it's all being kind of, you know, buckshotted at me in a big cloud of nonsense. I don't want to harp endlessly about that nonsense because I feel like it does take away from the substantial stuff. But, like, look at this. Like look at this. This is like here's a screenshot. Here's the kind of shit I see. Like what does this mean? You know, why do I see this included as a, like, what did I mean here? I don't know. How is this supposed to implicate me? Why is this being presented as evidence that I'm a pedophile? Like, Jesus. Look at this one. I wrap up my afternoon classes. I get back home to my computer. I open Discord to find the brain geniuses of Destiny's community having a spirited and extremely necessary debate on the subject of sex bots that look like children. So I sigh deeply, bring my fingertips to the keyboard, and type, "This is why I come here. My professors never want to talk about pedophile sex bots." I mean, the only thing I'm doing here is mocking the topic.
That's the reason why I can never get into politics. Because of motherfuckers like this.
So after all that, now we finally arrive at this most recent drama, the incident that lit a fire under Drama YouTube, and is, to my mind, the only thing I've done in the past 4 years that actually looks bad. It's pretty fucking embarrassing, to say the least. So there I was, streaming a few weeks ago, browsing a men's fashion site. I wanted to look at an image more closely, so I right-clicked to open the image in a new window, but then accidentally instead clicked the Save As tab in the right-click drop-down menu.
Yeah, this is the part where people needs to know about, because what the fuck is up with all those motherfuckers getting penetrated like a Jesus
Now,
Christ.
because I am, as has been extensively demonstrated in this video, a fucking idiot. My preferred strategy for keeping my desktop clean is to keep a single big folder called To Be Sorted, where every image, document, music file, whatever I happen to download gets sent. This is an insane thing to have as a live streamer, but, you know, there you go. It's me. So I hit Save As, and a half second later, a preview window of the folder and its contents popped up on stream. And now, of course, that folder had porn in it. So I immediately ended the stream and deleted the VOD. Even if it weren't just embarrassing to make a mistake like that as one of the largest political live streamers on the platform, it's TOS. You got to delete the VOD. So I stream with no delay. And folks are always screen capturing the feed, so I knew the contents of my To Be Sorted folder and the preview window were irrevocably public knowledge. But to be honest, that didn't really bother me too much. It was embarrassing, sure, but mostly because it made me look like a careless idiot, not because I was ashamed of the, like, furry demon monster GF big dick porn stuff I knew I had in there, you know.
Yeah, there were lollies in there too, so
rambled about liking all that stuff on stream before, not a secret, and I thought, you know, maybe in a way this fuck up would come across kind of charming, you know, like that's my streamer, that fucking idiot right there. My community was already making a big joke of it by the time I went live again. Of course, I knew as soon as the folder opened on stream that it would be pretty easy for people to lie about what it contained, to stir up drama or cause me trouble or for any other reason. So when later on in that stream, one or two people came into chat and they said, hey, there was lolly in there, you know, I figured they were just causing trouble and I banned them. Of course, we know where this is going. By the next day, I had learned from what felt like the entire goddamn internet that two of the images in my folder preview window were actually from a well-known lolicon artist, and therefore definitely intended to be lolly shit, which has to be the worst possible way to find out about that sort of thing. Now, obviously, the accusation here isn't just that I had those images saved. That part's true, not really an accusation, but also that I must have known that they were lolicon and saved them because they were lolicon. Now, the obvious and predictable but nonetheless true response from me is that no, I didn't know that, and that must not have been the impression I got from those two drawings, because if I had gotten that impression, then I wouldn't have saved them, you know? I mean, drawings are abstractions, and art styles and body proportions vary massively, even for characters that are unambiguously adults. That doesn't mean lolly shit isn't a thing or a problem. I've bitched about it being a problem, like, a lot on stream. It just means that carelessly or inattentively failing to notice it isn't exactly impossible. Yeah, I know what some people are going to say. No, you must have known. There's no way you didn't know. And like, what am I going to do? Make a fucking evidentiary argument here? Like, I'm not putting up the images so we can argue about the pixels or the proportions or whatever. I know fully well that like 99.9% of people who have heard about this drama haven't seen the images, nor do I think those people should go looking for them, obviously. So it's pretty much entirely a take me at my word or don't kind of situation where people are free to lie about the drawings, or, as I've already seen on Twitter, just post other really bad looking shit and say that's what I had in my folder. There's not much I can do about it, right?
Dude, I don't know, bro. I kind of like it sounds like you're. Let me not say shit because people are just gonna.
It's all totally unfalsifiable, and people are going to make whatever assumptions and inferences they want to make. All I can really say is,
I mean, dude, you should have been knowing that it was a whole bunch of like fucking lollies, my nigga. Like, how do you not know? That's, bro. Kind of just making excuses at this point.
The same way a person could fail to notice any element of any drawing if they were careless or inattentive or distracted. Hell, chat also pretty much immediately clocked 2 other drawings in the folder preview window as being AI art. Something else I didn't notice, and they gave me plenty of shit for that too, because I'm not a big fan of AI art. I think I've done a good job of demonstrating a tendency towards carelessness, if nothing else. So, leaving that stupid, least charitable argument aside, someone might then ask, okay, I get it. It's possible to make a mistake like that. Why then would you save the images? And what about them did you like? And look, there's really no way of saying this without sounding crass or flippant or...
Bro, what? I thought it was good. Dude, I'm gonna have to delete Streamlabs, bro. I'm gonna have to delete Streamlabs. This is fuck. Christ.
Or whatever, but it's already pretty revealing video. There's actually a very clear and simple explanation for why, for not just those 2 drawings, but in fact all the drawings in that folder and all my porn tastes generally. And it's an explanation that is extremely well known and well substantiated. I'm a size queen. I like big dicks. Yeah, I was looking through drawn porn like furry.
Good to know.
Or hentai or whatever else. I saw big well-drawn dicks. I thought, cool, and saved the drawings. Then never looked at them again, as evidenced by the fact they are in a big dump folder, literally called to be sorted. That's, that's the extent of the consideration that I gave those 2 drawings before my community and then the entire fucking internet hopefully corrected my mistake. It's hard to even say anything about it. 5 seconds of, ooh, nice dick, cool line art, saved. And it's a whole discourse. I wish I had an answer that was more satisfying, but really for something like this, I feel like people are going to believe what they believe. I do think there is a real argument to be made about carelessness, especially with regard to lolicon and its seeming omnipresence in the anime community. You don't have to know much about anime to know that's an issue with it. I find it repellent, and I've been bitching about it for years. Plenty of that bitching has been on stream, too.
I thought being active on the Voltron fandom was bad, but being a Vaush viewer since 2019 has been a true in the trenches experience. Low-key. I'm so glad Vaush still does unnecessary close-up of his face like it was the first video essay about enlightenment centrists. Yeah. It's better to hear straight from the horse's mouth, I guess. Okay. Word the Lord to free music, or a part where you bring in the leftist streamers to read the screenshots. Unsubscribed. Well, goddamn. Let this be a lesson to anyone tempted to do fashion stream. What the fuck are these people even talking about? Oh, God. We finally have a legitimate, well-researched Vaush hit piece video essay made and uploaded by Vaush himself. 2 hours of Vaush dunking on Vaush, explain why he's an idiot. Yeah, That type of shit is true. Worst part about this video was definitely remind me of that Mr. Girl debate. Truly a foul man. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck going on with that Mr. Girls nigga, bro. That nigga is gross. That nigga is insane. The moral of the story is that Vegan Gaines was the only person with consistent morals throughout the whole drama. I'm pretty sure that's the same nigga that said he wanted to like stomp a baby out or some shit. I remember that. But you know, the past is the past. Saying watch a nerdy black man still gets no love. Huh? Yeah, this whole Vaush thing is fucking wild, bro. This whole Vaush thing is pretty fucking wild. I'm not even gonna hold you. So like, essentially, the nigga likes big dicks. That's something. Nigga love big dicks. That's something. I'll watch that video later, but I wanted to watch this one video about Vaush by Sallow Dawn because I think this one is
February 20.
I think this one I'm pretty sure Sallow Dawn can just explain it better than I can. So let's see.
2024. Ian Kaczynski, a far-left politics and video game streamer better known as Vaush and world-famous enough to have a Wikipedia page, accidentally opened up his folder of adult material live on stream. No, excuse me. He accidentally opened up just one of his unsorted adult material folders. I like how he has his folder for taxes inside a XXX folder and right next to 3 further XXX folders. Careful about uploading the wrong scans to TurboTax in April, Ian. Anyway, point is Kaczynski exposed his audience to 22 thumbnails of his favorite muffin buttering material therein. His folder was sorted by file type. For mathematical purposes, that might as well mean we saw a pseudo-random assortment of his spank bank. Of the 22 images, 14 of them contained either hardcore pedophilic or hardcore beastophilic tags or content. That's an extreme degeneracy hit rate of 63%. For those of you who are fans of Vaush, that's a majority. After everyone on the internet except Keffels and Tipster dogged him for having and airing such material live, most notably Ethan Klein's H3H3 podcast, Ian committed to a 100-minute video essay to explain how his XXX folder, as well as every clip from his half-decade-long streaming career wherein he made pro-pedophilic comments, are actually reasonable, normal, and excusable when given the full context, and he's totally not a pedophile. I watched the entirety of Kaczynski's diatribe with an open mind and felt compelled to point out a number of problems I personally noticed in it. 1. Vaush completely omits his proclivity for bestiality for the...
Yeah, that's the part that I really found weird about it, because yeah, he said that he likes big dicks and he just searched for a hentai of big dicks and he just saved them bitches on his folder, completely ignoring the whole horse thing. That's pretty well. I mean, I didn't really watch the whole thing, so, but like I only watched the part where it was important, not the whole fucking Vegan Gaines situation. But
entirety of the video. He doesn't even broach the subject. Given that he specifically pointed out the porn thumbnails he showed with pedophilic material as problematic, while claiming he didn't know they were, which we'll get to, one can only reasonably infer that Vaush just doesn't see a problem with beastophilia.
It was embarrassing, sure, but mostly because it made me look like a careless idiot, not because I was ashamed of the, like, furry demon monster...
Yeah, consent is irrelevant for animals. Even pet gets no say in being locked up, taken away, fixed, and euthanized. I don't think bestiality should... Dude, what? Unironically, but I don't really think bestiality is that serious a crime. Bestiality should probably be legal. Bro. See, this is why I don't get into politics, bro. Motherfucker can talk about a bunch of serious, dangerous shit. Can talk about shit like this. It's just not my cup of tea. And plus, I'm not smart, so yeah, I'm avoiding all that shit entirely.
Porn stuff I knew I had in there. You know, I rambled about liking all that stuff on stream.
I'm so glad Sallow is smart, because I wouldn't get that shit.
Astounding. I really wish this would go without saying, but beastophilia is every bit as deplorable and disgusting as pedophilia, Ian. You fetishize a creature utterly incapable of consent. Your predilection for animals is just as reprehensible as your predilection for children, and you need just as much help for it. 2. Where's the apology and corrective action to ensure he doesn't expose his audience to pedophilic and beastophilic material again? Remember, this guy has 500,000 subscribers of a left-wing bent. The left wing naturally attracts a young, and analytics for this fellow show he's got plenty of under 18ers in his audience. I'm saying this with certainty. He directly showed minors a very extreme, disgusting, and in certain countries outright illegal brand of pornography. If this guy did such a thing on a town street where he'd affect far fewer people, he'd have been jailed for public indecency. I can't stress enough how gross what he shared was. For God's sakes, one of the images was a child eating a horse's ass, while the horse f***ed another girl in the ass.
What? Alright.
People call Darkside Phil a pedophile to this day when all he exposed his audience to was his contorted face cam of pleasure. And what Ian did is far worse beyond any doubt.
That nigga was feeling himself. Yo.
Chosen to debunk are nowhere near exhaustive. He obviously didn't include a single screenshot of his lust for horses. But I was personally disappointed he never acknowledged his publicly stated desire to, quote, kill capitalists and f*** their children. At least the portly fellow acknowledged that with how exhaustive his history of pedophile comments is, it's hard to capture everything. But man, I think that's something of a problem in and of itself. 4. Kaczynski claims he didn't know the pedophilic images he aired were lolicon, and, well, I'm sorry, but that's highly unlikely to be true. You see, the file names of his thumbnails indicate that they were downloaded.
Yeah, like I said, bro, I was literally thinking about it, and I was like, yeah, kind of sounds like he's just making excuses at this point.
From Dan Buru, a 17-year-old anime image site. Users find images by searching tags. What's more, when a user is viewing an image, a comprehensive list of tags users added to it is right next to it. Needless to say, his Indeed were tagged as lolly. In his essay, Kaczynski claims that trying to argue he knew the material was pedophilic is splitting hairs and ultimately pointless. But I'm not so sure. I think he's taking refuge in the hope that people would be too tired by the very nature of the subject matter to argue otherwise. I think someone who is as openly addicted to porn as Kaczynski and clearly very well versed with the likes of Dan Buru knew exactly what he was looking at. In fact, Ian is probably the closest thing the world has to a professional expert in making sure he's consuming exactly the porn he intends to. 5, and finally, the pattern of behavior best introduced by this clip in particular.
Recognize this empirically correct fact that I am about to spit. It is possible for an adult and a child to have a sexual relationship and for it to have positive outcomes on the child as well.
Vaush dances around it well, claiming he had a stupid understanding of act-utilitarianism at the time. I think in a similar fashion to point 4, Kaczynski is seeking refuge in the hope that his opposition will think dissecting this matter is too tiresome, a juice not worth the squeeze. But the question he never answered about saying that, quote, adult-child sexual relationships can sometimes be positive for the child, is this. Why the f*** would you conjure that example in the first place? No, I don't find the I was just trying to be as edgy as possible to build my audience argument to be convincing. You already had a big audience, as the chat shows, and there are myriad more natural edgy examples to choose, like murder. But you chose adult-child sex when absolutely no one involved in the discourse did anything to plant that seed in your brain. Mind you, Ian also specifically said child, not just minor, which is a massive difference. That suggests to me, and seems substantiated by Ian's porn collection, that his mind is naturally attracted to that subject matter. Because the majority of the clips and Discord messages Ian addresses wherein he brings up child porn or adult-child relationships were similar instances of him bringing up the subject with no external prompting. That pattern of behavior, which he only broke in more recent years with plenty of practice, is a red flag to any reasonable person. Well, I anticipate getting dogpiled by Vaush fans for this video, so for you lot who watch this long...
Yeah, let's see through this comments. Yep, I'm already seeing the dislikes. Let's see what them motherfuckers are saying. If this shit loads. Okay. All right. Type shit. Alrighty. Oh, let's see. Okay. Yeah, screen is hidden. All right. Ah. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, not even gonna hold you, bro. Yeah, the type of shit is just weird. A politics and video game streamer. Yeah, that's totally not a recipe for cringe. A gamer and a politician. That's or a I don't give a fuck. He lost everyone except Tipster and Kef, but it won't surprise me if he makes it back from this because we are living in clown world. That is a fucking fact. Quick horsing around, Vaush made a oopsie lollygagging. Vaush wants to be. Yeah, I forgot about that. He wanted to be a fucking horse, which is really weird, bro. Not sure that's any better. Makes him a furry, and that's just funny. Yeah, he wants it to be a horse. Because the motherfuckers have big dicks. Fucking weird, bro. Oh, Keffels get a trans recipe of surgery of becoming a horse, then marry Vaush. They are meant for. Bro, okay, so I know about Tipster a little bit, but what the fuck going on with Keffels? Because I swear to God, she's been in beef with like so many people, bro. Like I literally want to know what's going on with Keffels. Like, someone needs to tell me. Somebody needs to fucking tell me. It's pretty funny seeing Vaush little horse desperate trying to defend his clown. Yeah. Just letting everybody know, useless. The art is abstract. All arts are some sort of basis of inspiration or from reality. Nobody knows what goes in Vaush's head except for himself. At best, he could have just spanking it to just draw sexualized depiction of horse and lollies, leaving at that. At worst, he didn't stop at just art. Yeesh. Oh boy. Certainly, one fact is that I didn't bother to mention that it was Ian Opally of the opinion of Lolly and that shit of equivalent himself. Yeah, that type of shit, bro. Okay, can this thing not lag for like 1 fucking minute, bro? Damn. But like, yeah, this Vaush nigga is just uncomfortable. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm gonna go to the nerdy black man thing. But yeah, like I said, this whole thing of him just liking horse with big dicks and just the whole lolly porn thing. Yeah, that shit is unheard of. Some fuck weird shit right there, bro. Not even gonna hold you. But, not a place for me to make a commentary on because, like I said, I'm not very smart at all. So, there's that. But, so I'm just gonna leave it at that.